Can a solar storm wipe out the entire planet Earth? Massive solar storms can literally strip away a planet's atmosphere and make it completely uninhabitable. We're talking about the kind of cosmic destruction that could end civilization as we know it, but here's what would actually happen if Earth got hit by an ultimate solar storm. Solar storms are basically giant bursts of charged particles and magnetic fields ejected from the sun's surface. The biggest one we know about happened in 1859, called the Carrington Event, and it was so powerful that telegraph wires caught fire and aurora lights appeared as far south as the Caribbean. But an ultimate solar storm would be thousands of times stronger. First, it would completely destroy our power grid within minutes. Every satellite would get fried, meaning no GPS, no internet, no communication systems. Your phone would become a paperweight. The real danger isn't the immediate impact, though. Without our magnetic field to fully protect us, which would get severely disrupted, we'd face intense radiation exposure. This wouldn't kill everyone instantly, but it would cause massive health problems and make certain areas of Earth temporarily uninhabitable. The atmosphere wouldn't get completely stripped away like on Mars because Earth's magnetic field is much stronger, but we'd lose some of it. The bigger problem would be the complete collapse of modern technology and infrastructure. Recovery could take decades, assuming we could even coordinate relief efforts without any functioning electronics. Millions would die not from the storm itself, but from the societal collapse that follows. So while an ultimate solar storm wouldn't literally destroy Earth, it would definitely destroy the world as we know it. The unseen enemy, a cascade of catastrophes. Imagine the instant the first wave of charged particles slams into Earth's magnetosphere. It wouldn't be a visible explosion, not like in a Hollywood movie. Instead, it would be an invisible, silent EMP, an electromagnetic pulse, of unimaginable power. This isn't just about knocking out the lights. It's about fundamentally rewiring our planet's technological backbone. Think about the sheer interconnectedness of our modern lives. Everything, from the water flowing from your tap to the food on your supermarket shelves, relies on a constant, uninterrupted flow of electricity and intricate digital networks. The power grid's meltdown. The primary target would be our planet-spanning electrical grids. Transformers, designed to handle normal loads, would be overloaded by massive induced currents. They'd become superheated, literally melting down or exploding in a chain reaction of failures. Substations would go dark, then entire cities, then continents. It wouldn't be a localized blackout, it would be a global, instantaneous plunge into darkness. And it's not a simple matter of flipping a switch back on. These transformers, especially the massive specialized ones that form the backbone of our long-distance transmission, are incredibly difficult and time-consuming to replace. Many are custom-built, and the supply chain for them is not equipped for a global surge in demand. We're talking about months, if not years, to even begin to restore power to major population centers. The silent skies and seas. Without satellites, air traffic control would cease to function. Planes in mid-air would lose all navigation and communication. Commercial shipping, heavily reliant on GPS and satellite communications for route planning and safety, would be crippled. Ports, which use automated systems to load and unload cargo, would grind to a halt. The global supply chain, already fragile, would shatter into a million pieces. Imports and exports would stop. Food and medicine, which often travel vast distances, would no longer reach their destinations. Communication blackout. Beyond the internet, every form of electronic communication would vanish. Radio, television, mobile networks, all dead. This means no emergency broadcasts, no coordination of rescue efforts, no way for loved ones to check on each other. Panic would spread like wildfire, fueled by misinformation and the terrifying silence of a connected world suddenly cut off. Local communities would be isolated, left to fend for themselves without guidance or resources from central authorities. The lingering threat, radiation and societal collapse. While the immediate EMP would be devastating, the longer-term effects would be equally, if not more, terrifying. Radiation sickness and its aftermath. Earth's magnetic field, though strong, isn't impenetrable. An ultimate solar storm would severely compress and distort it, creating temporary weaknesses. During these periods, high-energy charged particles from the sun would bombard the upper atmosphere and, to a lesser extent, penetrate closer to the surface. This would lead to a significant increase in background radiation. While not immediately lethal for most, it would cause widespread acute radiation sickness, leading to a surge in cancers, birth defects, and other health issues in the years that follow. Certain regions, especially those with naturally weaker magnetic field protection, like the South Atlantic anomaly, would be exposed to even higher doses, potentially rendering them uninhabitable for extended periods. Imagine hospitals, already struggling without power, being overwhelmed by a wave of severely ill patients requiring complex technology-dependent treatments that no longer exist. The agricultural apocalypse. Modern agriculture is heavily reliant on technology. GPS-guided tractors, automated irrigation systems, and digital inventory management all play a crucial role in feeding billions. Without these, food production would plummet. Even basic farming techniques would be hampered by the lack of fuel for machinery and the breakdown of distribution networks. Food riots would become common. Starvation would be a very real threat for a significant portion of the global population. The delicate balance of our global food supply, which is already under pressure from climate change and population growth, would be utterly shattered. Water and sanitation crisis. Most modern water treatment plants rely on electricity to pump water, treat it with chemicals, and distribute it. Without power, clean drinking water would quickly become scarce. Sanitation systems, including sewage treatment, would also fail, leading to widespread outbreaks of waterborne diseases. Cholera, dysentery, and other illnesses that we thought were largely confined to history would make a devastating comeback, further straining non-existent medical resources. A new dark age, the road to recovery, if any. The prospect of recovery from an event of this magnitude is daunting, to say the least. It wouldn't be a matter of days or weeks, but decades, if not longer. Lost knowledge and expertise. The sheer loss of digitally stored information would be immense. Medical records, scientific research, engineering blueprints, historical archives, much of it would simply vanish. Even if physical copies existed, the infrastructure to access, transport, and utilize them would be gone. A new generation would have to rediscover and rebuild much of what we take for granted. Expertise would be lost as specialists, isolated and without their tools, would struggle to apply their knowledge. The challenge of rebuilding. Imagine trying to rebuild a complex, interconnected global society from scratch. How do you manufacture new microchips without functioning factories? How do you mine raw materials without heavy machinery? How do you transport goods without roads or functioning vehicles? It would be a monumental task, requiring levels of cooperation and resourcefulness unprecedented in human history. The global economy would revert to a localized, barter-based system, if any system could be maintained at all. A world divided. The immediate aftermath would likely see a breakdown of national governments and a rise of localized, often desperate survival groups. The potential for widespread conflict over dwindling resources would be immense. The dream of a unified global response would be a fantasy in a world cut off from itself. Is there any hope? While an ultimate solar storm represents an existential threat to our technological civilization, it wouldn't wipe out all life on Earth. Humanity, in a drastically reduced and fundamentally altered form, would likely survive. Those in rural areas, less dependent on technology, might fare better initially. But their survival would be a testament to human resilience, not a continuation of our modern way of life. The potential for such an event underscores the critical need for global preparedness. Investing in hardened infrastructure, developing resilient communication systems, and creating international protocols for disaster response are not just theoretical exercises. They are vital steps toward mitigating the devastating impact of a truly ultimate solar storm. So, while Earth itself would endure, scorched but not destroyed, the world as we know it would be irrevocably altered, plunging humanity into a new dark age, where the lessons of the past would have to be painstakingly relearned, and the future would be written not in code, but in the sweat and toil of a humanity brought to its knees. Do you have any thoughts on how humanity might prepare for such an extreme event?